Welcome back to Big Boss Mare with Brandy Von Holt, and today I have two guests, not just one. I have a husband and wife pair that travel around and they teach all sorts of clinics, and they've been together for forever, and they've been changing all sorts of lives of people with horses, with mules, with gaited horses, with stock horses, with barrel horses, dressage horses, and I just can't wait to introduce them. With me today are Tony and Jenny Vaught. Okay, so Tony and Jenny are from Missouri originally, but now they live in Florida, but then they have traveled back here and they're teaching a clinic. So let's go ahead and introduce them. So Tony and Jenny, who is in charge of the remote control?
Aaron.
That's right, our youngest son.
Yeah. Oh, your youngest son. How old is your youngest son right now?
He's 12, almost 13.
And he is in charge of that remote control.
He is.
No. Okay. Who are both of y'all, morning people or a night owl?
Well, I am not a morning person. I used to be until I had kids.
Okay. What about you, Tony?
Yeah, I'm more of a morning guy.
Okay. What do y'all... Okay, so I like people to get to know y'all a little bit, and then we'll dive deep into some crazy stuff. So y'all used to both do the Parelli method, and Jenny, you were an instructor and a horse specialist, and then Tony was a horse specialist. So tell us about your experience with the Parelli program.
Yes, well, I first saw Pat, it was in 1991, and I went and saw a demonstration that he actually did in Sedalia, Missouri, and was so shocked by everything I saw him doing with the horses and the other people that were in the arena that when he came back, I think it was actually just a couple months later, and did a clinic in Columbia, half the riders in that clinic were from my barn.
So Columbia, Missouri.
Columbia, Missouri, yes, yes.
Okay.
So then from that moment on, after that clinic, it wasn't too long, and he contacted me to see if I wanted to be part of his instructor program, and I said absolutely.
Yeah.
So
okay, and then 15 years passed.
15 years passed, and the only reason actually that we stepped out of his professionals program was we had, at that time, 3 kids. I don't think we had Aaron yet. But the amount of time that we would have needed to be away from home was more than we felt like we could do with such a young family. So we ended up stepping out of the professionals program, but still have a good relationship with both Pat and Linda.
Okay. So, and then you did the Parelli program for about 10 years?
Yes.
Okay. So, all right. So I'm a 1979 model. What model are y'all 10 or 15 years older than me, or are we right there together?
Pretty close. No, I'm a 67.
You're a 67. What are you? I'm 67 model. I'm a 79 model. What model are you?
I'm a 62 model.
62 model. Okay.
Yes.
My husband's 6 years older than me. So there we go. All right. And then how is that with having a 12-year-old?
Well,
it's good for him.
Oh, it's good for him.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we like to think we're a little bit wiser now and handle things a little bit better.
So, well, I know that I was difficult on my parents. I think they were stricter on my brother, and then they were kind of tired, and then I was a handful. So I don't know. I think, and then my husband's family, all of his brothers and sisters. One sister, I think she was 50 whenever she had her first and only child.
Oh, wow.
She thought she was going through menopause. Nope.
Surprise.
And then he's been amazing, But, yeah, I think kids that get older parents, they really do get a better shake at it, I feel like, because like the parents are a lot more stable, so y'all are homeschool instructors. Are both of y'all homeschool, or did you homeschool all of the kids, or?
We actually did. Our oldest, Nicole, she went to a private school through, it was either 2nd or 3rd grade, and then we started homeschooling her, and so then we homeschooled all the rest. So we have 4 total, 2 girls, 2 boys.
Okay.
But yeah.
We should probably be fair about this, though. Jenny handles most of that.
Okay, you handle most of that.
Every now and then I rope Tony into a science experiment or something, but aside from that, yeah, I pretty much take care of that part.
Okay. Well, the ministry, who is in charge of that?
Tony.
That would be
Tony.
more me, yes.
Okay. So tell us, like, are you giving sermons? Do you have a group, or is it your family? Like, tell me about the ministry.
Well, the ministry originated 12 years ago.
Yeah.
No, not 12. That'd be too much.
Well, no, that's
But
probably
anyway,
about right.
So it is part of our family thing, but we always have Cowboy Church at our clinics, and the basics of it was horses are so good at demonstrating what can be possible when there's an extreme partnership.
Yeah.
When there's no resistance, when there's no can't, don't want to's, not even no how's.
Yeah, they don't lie.
Well, and, you know, when God's trying to accomplish something down here, like he needs us to do our part. That's
Right.
You know, and so the horses are so wonderful at showing what it can be and what it could be like and what it might be like when there's a lot of resistance.
Yeah, you know, having a relationship with a horse is just an amazing thing in general, because what a beautiful creature that, I mean, because we are predators, and for a prey animal to allow us to ride it and to not be fearful of us, like, what a cool relationship to have with an animal. So,
Yes,
Well, and you can
definitely.
kind of see how that translates also. You know, all of New Testament scripture, most of it can be illustrated through the principles of natural horsemanship because it's based on free will. So
Based on free will,
we're
yeah.
not about dominance. We're not about force, fear, any type of intimidation. We
Right.
just set things up and allow it to work out to where the horse thinks that our idea is the best idea. And when they decide to go along with our idea, like, it's a wonderful experience and a lot happens.
I think you're talking about how I get my husband to do everything.
Ah,
I make it his idea.
yeah.
But hey, so I had read a quote. I think it was by Warlick Schiller. I think that's how you say his name. He said that you have to treat a mule the way that you're supposed to treat a horse. Have you
Right.
found that with mules and with a difference in mules and horses?
Oh, absolutely.
Definitely.
Yep.
Yeah, they make you earn it.
They do, and you have to be fair, and it has to make sense.
Yep.
It has to make sense, and they also, I feel like they need to see what the benefit to them is.
Yep.
You know, it's not just do it because I say so.
Oh,
There's
okay.
got to be a sweet spot at the end, you know, something where they go, oh, okay, I like this.
With that, because I've got 2 mules and we've got 3 horses, and my mules, they make me earn it. Oh, they make, you know, I ride all of them exactly the same, but like a narrow bridge, like whenever I go over a narrow bridge, my small mule is like, what's the purpose of this? And I'm like, go over the narrow bridge. And he's like, why? And oh, man, he just makes me work for it. And my horses are like, there's a narrow bridge. I go over it. There's my narrow bridge. And I'm like, wow, they're so different. So tell us about the karate. Y'all are both in karate?
We are, yeah.
Okay.
It actually started with our sons. Our oldest son started first, and then Aaron followed along. He was like the tiniest
Little
little
ninja.
shrimp.
Little shrimp.
little
Little
shrimp
ninja.
in the class. But and then I started, and then Tony joined in. So
Tony was like, all right. I can't have my wife and my family and my boys doing it, and then I'm sitting over here. So are you more flexible?
You know, in some ways, maybe. It's just good for older guys to not get old.
Oh yeah, you got to
You
keep
know.
that. You got to keep rolling. You got to keep on moving, because something in motion stays in motion. Something that's not in motion will remain not in motion. So
Right,
you've
right.
got to push the envelope. I just started rucking lately, and that right there has introduced me to struggle again. Like, I just got through reading this book also called The Comfort Crisis, and it talks about how we need to be uncomfortable more because it makes you stronger. Talks about how the human body can do like this huge amount of things like this. Just imagine this massive circle of stuff that we're able to do, but then we are only living our lives in this smaller circle that fits inside of that, and about how we've got to push the envelope to, to have a better life, have a more fulfilled life, a healthier life, a more active life, and a longer life. So
Right. Well, and we find also, especially as teachers, it really helps to continue to learn new things because it reminds you just how difficult it is when you're first learning. Just like, you'll see people riding, you ask them to do something and they go left instead of right. And you're like, no, your other right. Well, we run into it as we're learning anything new.
yeah, in that comfort crisis, it talks about how to slow down time. And that seems like a weird thing to say, but whenever you were a child, time went by so slow, and now it's going so fast. You're just like, deploy the air brakes, deploy the, parent
Right.
trying to slow it down. And the way that it says to slow that down is to learn something new, because then you have to take the time to really analyze all of your steps because you're trying to learn. So it says to slow down time. You have to continue to strive for something new. You have to continue to try to learn. So what are your ranks in karate?
I'm a purple belt in karate, so.
And I'm a green belt, 1 black stripe.
Okay,
So
all right.
I forget what kyu that is. It's like,
Y'all are both
I don't know, maybe 7.
intermediate.
Fifth
Yeah,
kyu.
yeah. Purple belt's kind of starting to get up there in our dojo.
Okay.
It's more advanced for sure.
Whenever I did Taekwondo, I'm a 3rd degree black belt. And so what we had was white, yellow, orange, green, blue, red, black. And then there was 4 different levels on each one of those colors. So I take it that karate's kind of
It's kind of similar to that, yeah.
So a green belt, 1 black stripe would be that would be your 6th promotion.
And then how many promotions do you have?
10.
10. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So y'all seem it's the similar. It's so similar. What's the thing that you like the most about the karate?
Well, that's a good question.
Yeah, there's several things that I like about it. For one thing, like learning something new, like you talk about, but something that requires physical as well as mental, I think is really good. And like Jenny said, you're reminded when you teach, like, could you be a little more clear?
Oh,
Or
yes.
Could you slow it down a little bit? Because our senseis at the dojo, they're they're very good.
Right.
And they all have diverse backgrounds. So we get one of them's from the hood in Harlem. Another guy came out of a gang in New York. He wasn't like a bad gang member, but he was in that crowd.
Right.
And so we get good education.
This is awesome because this is probably what your students feel like, because y'all are the masters of your horse world, and then you've got people coming up underneath you. It's very similar. I guess it's a great reminder because you're used to being the master at one thing and then not being the master at something else. You're like, ooh, communication is key to success.
Yes.
So, okay, so I'll tell you a little story. All right, here we go. Y'all are like, oh, great. My first horse competition besides barrel racing as a child, but my first adult horse competition was about 10 years ago. And I went there and I competed in it was an obstacle-based competition. I competed in novice, and then they had a separate course for intermediate and above, so I could compete in 2 divisions. Well, I got dead last in the novice, and I got disqualified in the intermediate because I went over in time, so you got disqualified. And I was like, wow. The weekend before that, I had fought in Oklahoma City, and I qualified for nationals in 2 different age divisions because I was 33, and the most competitive division is 18 to 32. So you can be considered handicap and compete in that. And then I can actually compete in my own age bracket. But I qualified for nationals, and they have different levels of fighter, and the top level of fighter is an Olympic level fighter. So I qualified for the national competition in 2 age divisions as an Olympic level fighter. And the next weekend, I got my butt handed to me on my horse. You know what? And I'm the best horse person in my family. You know, I was the best horse person 10 years ago, and now I'm light years away from where I was then. But I also realize that I have light years to go. So I understand that now. But back then, 10 years ago, I thought I was good. And then, you know what that horse competition taught me? It taught me that, here's things. All right, so I'm going to really make myself sound like an idiot. And it's kind of embarrassing because y'all are so distinguished. But 10 years ago, I didn't know what a lead was. And then whenever I'd heard about them, I thought that was for people that rode English. Didn't think it was people that rode Western. I used to get onto my horses if they jumped. And it's okay to allow your horse to jump, you know. You can tell them when to jump or not. But, boy, I used to be ticked off if my horse would jump something like a ditch or a log. I'd be like, you walk over that. Mm-hmm. Dang it. And then I was completely unaware that my horse would not load into another horse's trailer. I found that out. That was their last obstacle, was a trailer load. And I'm like, get in there. And he's like, girl, that ain't my trailer. I don't get into strangers' trailers.
Right.
There was I just walked right into that. I had no idea. And so.
Horses are very humbling, without a doubt. And, you know, every discipline, there's a learning curve. Mm-hmm. You can be a super accomplished horseman or woman, and that still doesn't mean when you change disciplines, it's going to be a bit of a transition.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's like the rucking that I'm doing right now. I was just like, you know what? I have done some amazing things. I'm going to start with 50 pounds. And I started with 50 pounds, and I videoed it, and that was awful. I did it 2 different rucks. I started with 50 pounds, did a 1.5 miles each one of those with that weighted backpack. And if nobody knows what I'm talking about, you can go to goruck.com. But it's weighted hiking. And it's supposed to be like the best combination of strength and cardio. We'll see. It hurt my feet a lot. I've never been so motivated to lose 50 pounds until I put 50 pounds in a backpack, and I'm like, good God Almighty, that's heavy. It's so heavy. So tell me a little bit let's go back to the homeschooling, okay? So what's your favorite thing about homeschool?
I think I like the flexibility. Okay. You know, for us, that's been huge. And if we needed to be out of town for a few days, the kids could go with us. We can always make up if we get behind, make up over the summer. So the flexibility is huge.
Flexibility.
And being able to go at each child's speed. There is no big push or rush. We have certain things we want to get accomplished, but there's not a lot of pressure.
Okay. So my husband and I, during the big old capital C for COVID, we had a whole bunch of horse camps and stuff. And then there was such a demand for those, for kids to be able to get out and about and be able to do things. And then we always did like an art and craft with them.
Right.
Well, boy, we don't have children. I had some cancer before, and my husband, he was okay with not having kids because all of his family had kids older, and he was just like, I don't want to do that. And so we don't have kids of our own, but I was a school teacher for 11 years, and then he's always been really good with woodworking and welding, and he's the most non-Amish. He's the most Amish, non-Amish. He's not Amish, but he should have been with everything that he can do. Well, after doing those arts and crafts with those kiddos, we realized that they needed some help in woodworking. And a lot of their parents were very distinguished and accomplished in whatever field they were, but a lot of those fields were not woodworking. So that right there has prompted us to break off from our horse trail riding facility, and we actually have a homeschool, an at-home wood shop now, because I've wrote curriculum for it. We've got videos of him teaching kids how to build, and then we send all of the wood to them. We've went to a couple of homeschool expos so far. We went to one that was in St. Louis, Missouri, one that was in, I think it's Greenville, I don't know, Green something. Green Sun, Greenville, Greenton, I don't know.
Right.
South Carolina. I think that's Greenville.
Greenville.
I think it's Greenville.
Yeah,
Yeah.
South Carolina.
Yeah.
And we had so many people, and we've got one more later this year that's in Texas, but we had so many people attend our presentations that people were sitting on the floor because they were out of chairs. People were standing. People were outside the door. And they loved what we...
Oh, I bet.
Oh, they love it just because it's hands-on, it's authentic, and it's USA made. And, man, the homeschool environment is so inviting to us because they know that we're trying to do right by their kids. We're not trying to fluff it. We're not trying to do anything that we're not supposed to do. I'm like, here's all of the curriculum that I'm going to teach your kids. You can choose what you'd like to do. You know, so like they love that they've got the steering wheel. So I know with homeschool, it's been like very well received with that. So tell us about the science experiments that you get brought in on.
Well, they're usually pretty simple. I think the last one we did was how to figure out how to get enough air into a bottle with some water in it so that we could put some fins on the side of it and fly it like a rocket.
Okay. Wow, you really do get brought in on some science experiments.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, tell us about your training now that y'all do, because y'all lived in Missouri and y'all are super freaking tan because now you live in Florida.
Yeah, this time of year it used to be windburn. Now it's actually from the sun.
Right.
Oh, okay. So, well, I don't even have to ask you why you moved from Missouri to Florida, because yesterday, whenever you were teaching your clinic, I was in a T-shirt. And today, I was not in a T-shirt. I'm in 2 shirts, a hoodie. It is cold, and it's really not even that cold, but it's horrible compared to yesterday.
Yes.
So you got a reminder today of why you moved to Florida.
Yes, definitely. No mud, no ice, well, there's rain. No freezing rain.
Right.
No freezing rain. Yeah, just wonderful. So what's the things that you miss the most about living in Missouri?
Well, the changing seasons. I mean, I do miss, but the nice thing is we travel enough up here, even in the fall and the spring, that we get to see the seasons change. Probably the rolling hills.
Okay.
We're fairly flat. We actually are up on a sand ridge, so we're probably one of the highest natural areas in our county, at least in Florida.
Okay.
But, yeah, I think though, and we miss our friends and family that live up here. That's about all I can think of.
What about you? What's your favorite restaurant, or what's something you miss, Tony?
Well, one of the things I miss is the hay prices.
Oh, dang.
Yes.
Hay's pretty dang expensive in Florida. I really miss hay prices.
Yes, that is true.
So, have you had to battle an alligator yet? Have you had any alligators in a ditch or anything, or in your horse pasture?
No, we have not had any alligators on our property. We see them from time to time when we're out and about, but not that much. We have to go looking for them.
Okay. I know because I used to go to Florida all the time, there's always martial arts competitions there. And I remember being at a stop sign and I'm like, there's an alligator in the ditch. I mean, like, this is not okay for me. Like, I'm not okay with that.
I'll see them. I like to kayak, so I'll see them sometimes when I'm out kayaking.
Nope.
But
No swimming in the ponds.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like no way, no how.
Yeah, never. Oh, my gosh. So what's your favorite thing about Florida besides the weather? I mean, is there a different food that's in there? Is there a bunch of Cuban food or anything?
Well, one of our favorite restaurants is Squid Lips. But
Squid Lips.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep. But
that is not inviting sounding. That's kind of like, we have a restaurant in a town called the Rusty Skillet, and I'm like, that's not a selling point.
But you remember it.
You do remember. It's wonderful marketing because it cannot leave my brain. I'm over here like, well, that's one way to get iron into your system.
Yep. Yep. That's right.
So are y'all steak or seafood, or steak or sushi?
I am not a sushi fan. Our kids, our girls are sushi fans, but not me. I like seafood, but I still prefer steak.
Still prefer steak.
Yep.
Okay. What's your favorite? Who does most of the cooking between the two of y'all?
It's whoever gets to the kitchen first in our house usually.
I would be dragging my feet.
You know, I don't know if I'd say I do more. I used to do more of it, but now I'd say it's pretty 50-50.
Are you either one of y'all into the air fryer or the what is that pot thing?
The Instapot.
Instapot. I've got one of those. I'm scared to death of it. I've got to do it.
I finally got brave enough to use ours, and so we use it some, but not a whole lot.
Are y'all big grillers? I bet it might be too hot in Florida.
It's not too hot, but we're not super big grillers. Probably the main thing that sticks out in our house is that we won't allow a microwave in the house. There is no microwave, much to my kids' dismay.
So I know that whenever y'all have been eating lunch, y'all eat pretty healthy. So what, have y'all always been this healthy, or have you found that you've got to, it's just kind of come along as time has happened?
Yes, it has come along as time has happened. It became a necessity.
Yep.
My husband's fighting his addiction with Pepsi right now because he's got a pain in his side and we cannot figure out what that pain is, and we've got to. And I'm like, hey there, little buddy, all those Pepsis, they got a consequence.
They catch up eventually.
They do catch up eventually. Are y'all coffee drinkers?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
I am. Jenny, she's a coffee sipper.
Oh, coffee. Okay. Do you like your coffee black so it can grow hair on your chest, or do you like to fruit it up like I do with hazelnut and organic stevia? Oh God, you're shaking your head like a big no. Oh no.
Black is good.
Ugh.
Yeah. Now my coffee, I'm really not an adult when it comes to coffee. Mine basically is hot chocolate with a shot of coffee.
Okay, me and you are the same. I just found out that I have food allergies against dairy. So now I'm having to do hazelnut, and it's killing me because, well, not really. I feel so much better without the dairy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I end up having, the hardest things for me is all forms of dairy, gotta go. And then I was majorly allergic to pineapple and banana. But then freaking mustard seed and vanilla, those are the hard ones for me. It's real easy to not have dairy. You just have to look out every now and then. It's like it's in lime chips. They have dehydrated sour cream that's put in there, I guess, to make that taste right. So every now and then I have to look around. But the vanilla is in everything. Between vanilla and dairy, it kind of knocks out almost all desserts unless I have an apple with peanut butter. But that's not a Little Debbie or nothing, And then mustard seeds and everything. It's in barbecue sauces. A lot of times mustard's in, I have, I'm usually okay with Asian sauces. So, and then just eating clean. So that really helps that out.
We drive down the road and talk about the good old days when we used to be able to eat wherever we wanted.
Oh, yeah. No, boy, that's slapping me in the face right now. I'm just trying to get my health back, and I just feel so much better when I eat better. Do y'all feel like you ride better and you function better?
Absolutely.
100%.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We've had 43 different clinicians at our place, Von Holton Ranch. We're a horse trail riding facility that's in Missouri. We're in the same county as Sedalia. That's our largest town, the largest town closest to us. But we have clinicians that come in here and they will go out to eat every night, and they'll drink alcohol, after they're done, just a little bit. Nobody gets crazy because we wouldn't invite them back. And then I have other clinicians that come here and they eat perfectly. They are super clean, and it just seems like the ones that eat healthy, they're always a constant weight. And then the ones that, wine and dine whenever they're doing all of these clinics and stuff, their weight fluctuates, and so I don't know. I love seeing a lot of my clinicians that come here are really healthy. And I've only had a few that got up and ran before their clinic. And I was like, okay, you're in your own category. You're in your own little bubble with that stuff.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, I know whenever I travel and teach clinics, I'm exhausted. I don't know. I feel like I'm more exhausted whenever I travel to teach a clinic than I do doing one at my own place.
Yeah.
So, okay. How do people find you? How do they get into your clinics or see what you have available? So I know y'all have a Facebook group that they've got to ask to be in.
We do, yeah. And that's actually probably, Facebook is probably what we've been using the most of recently. We used to have an email list, and we had a website, and we've actually kind of switched over to just using our ministry website for the most part. So Facebook.
Okay, so what did they look up to find you?
It's For the Horse Ranch.
For the Horse Ranch.
Yes.
Oops, my dog is shaking. All right, and then they'll just have to ask to be in it. It's a private group, but they're able to find that. It's For the Horse. And then, so what do you have planned for this year? Because y'all still compete.
We do, yeah. We still compete some. Most of the time we stay pretty local, pretty close to home when we're competing. But
so what do you compete in?
Ranch horse and versatility and barrel horses is right now the focus.
So the clients that I see that you book here are almost all of my gated clients, and then I have a few mules that are in here this time. But y'all do everything.
We do, yeah. We do all breeds, but we actually, when I first started riding horses for other people, the very first horse I rode was walking horse. I didn't know anything about gaited horses. My background had been saddlebreds and Arabs, so I learned a lot with that first gaited horse. So that's kind of how I got started. And then later on, when Tony and I were together, we had a customer that wanted to do ranch horse and versatility, but they wanted to use their foxtrotters because they were raising foxtrotters. And so we got dragged in there kind of kicking and
No.
Pretty much, yeah. Kicking and screaming.
Yes, not that enthusiastic, but found that, they worked fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
It caused us to slow down a little bit. We had to be a little more careful how we presented to give them time to get their feet organized. Mm-hmm. But the end result was fantastic. So,
okay. So, I have gotten into things I didn't mean to get into it. And then I'm like, oh, I love that. That's the way I was with teaching. I got into teaching so I'd have summers off to fight because I try to go to the Olympics as a heavyweight. And then I stayed in teaching because I loved it. It kind of opened my eyes to that. And then I had never had a mule in my life, and I had never owned anything gated. I've got 2 gated mules now. And I'm like, what the heck? And everybody's like, oh, you're a mule girl. And I'm like, well, I don't think I'll ever get another one past these 2, but I turned down a lot of money for them last year because they're gated mules, and they've, been on magazine covers, and I do mounted archery, and I travel with one of them, and I can actually shoot fire off of him. I shot fire at the Equifest of Kansas, and then Wisconsin, the Midwest Horse Fair they booked me to shoot fire, but they could not get their county sheriff to say
go for it.
Well, it is a projectile weapon, and then to purposely have fire indoors, It was like, girl, what are you trying to do? And I'm like, something cool if you'll let me. Yeah.
Entertain.
Well, the Illinois Horse Fair, I talked to some people, and some people that are on the board, I'll probably present there, but yeah, I travel around with that. We have a complete line of mounted archery equipment that's all USA made, minus the bow, because it was an Asian sport, that.
Right.
So, but the complete line of the quivers and everything are all USA made. They're actually made in our county by Neat Archery, but Neat doesn't sell to individuals. They sell to, they're a manufacturing company for larger businesses. So we have a complete line, and I love it to death.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, I went from martial arts to mounted archery because of the hand-eye coordination, but I love it because it was something new and something challenging.
Yes.
Isn't that crazy? How at the end of my life, I'm not going to be some pretty little package that's done. I'm going to wear this body out one way or another.
There you go. Right.
So what are what are your goals for the future? What are you trying to do right now? Are you trying to survive Aaron?
My main goal right now, honestly, is just taking care of Aaron. Yeah, the other 3 actually just got married, and we get to see them. They're still live close to us, so we see them a lot and get to do a lot of things with the girls. They're both very involved with the horses. But my main focus is being a mom here for a while yet.
Whenever clients talk about y'all, they're just like, they always try to tell me which one they love the most, and I'm over here like, I don't care. I love that y'all are different. You're different, but yet you're in the same book. You are just in like, you're a little bit more like, you like the barrel horses. You're a little bit more cowboy, and you're a little more
finesse.
A little more finesse. Yeah.
Yep.
What a wonderful combination, So, what is your favorite thing about Von Holton Ranch?
Oh gosh, probably the whole setup and atmosphere. It's a friendly, very user friendly atmosphere. It is so nice for people to just pull in and easily be able to park and unload and get situated. And then a great arena. We don't have to worry about the weather. And we love being able to go up and play on the obstacles. So
that obstacle course is my favorite up there. So, that obstacle course, this year we're trying to double the size of the obstacles. So there's obstacles not in the woods, and then we purposely put it right there beside the woods because now we've cleared out. I don't know if y'all have got to go up there yet, but we are ready to really, we already have I love that obstacle course, but now we're wanting to make it something that stands out, majorly stands out in the Midwest is what we're trying to do with that.
Perfect.
So do you think you would ever want to take one of those barrel horses of yours and shoot an arrow off of it?
I don't know.
Okay.
That's not, probably not that interested in it. Mm-hmm. It's not like they're not going to be quiet enough to do that on, because we start everything like a ranch horse.
Yep.
Ranch horses are the best. If you can get your horse ready for a ranch horse versatility show, like there's hardly anything that you can't do on them beyond that.
Right.
So our barrel horses, that's just one spoke off of the foundation. We have some futurity babies. They're not babies anymore. They're 4 now, but they're super cowy. So, I don't know if they'll be ranch horse material or not, but, they're going along so nice and easy. You could shoot an arrow off of them right now.
Right.
I guarantee you the girls would be up for it, though.
Oh, they would be?
Oh, yeah.
My 2 mules, one mule is I can shoot fire off of, and the other one is scared to death of my arrows and my quiver. But we're working on that. But she's like a slow to develop. It took me over a year to get her over our big bridge, the one that you can walk a horse underneath. Mm-hmm. I could have forced it, but I didn't. And then, I let it happen. But anyways, so if people want to get in touch with you, it's For the Horse Ranch. And if you have difficulty getting finding it or anything, you can contact me. And I've used some of your clients. Some of your clients are the best people in the world. They're wonderful clients for me, and they sign up for your stuff, and they always help people. And so I want to give a shout out to Angie Gibson, and then Mindy Hoy. They have been, and then Ellen Valagine. Those 3 women. If every clinician needs clients like those 3 women.
Yes,
they are
definitely.
They just want to improve their horsemanship, and their horses are already just wonderful. So they're just polishing a trophy.
Yep.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Right. What a wonderful relationship they get to have with their horses. So any closing advice for people that you see in general that are in the horse world?
I think probably the main thing that we always try to make sure we mention is that whether it's with horses or anything else you're learning, if your goal is just to make a 0.5% improvement each time you play with your horse, over the span of a month, 2 months, a year, the difference will be incredible. I think a lot of times we're all pushing for too much, too fast.
Too much, too fast. Okay.
Yep. There's always tomorrow.
There is always
tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay. What's your favorite horse that you've ever had? Do you have a favorite horse?
I guess I'd have to say Sasha. I have several. I have 2 mares right now that are amazing, and they're amazing horses. But Sasha was a quarter horse, the first one that I took around and did demonstrations on all over, and every one of our kids learned to ride. on him. He took care of every one of them.
A boy named Sasha.
Yeah, it's German.
Okay. All right. You think I would know that, but I married into this Von Holten name.
Supposedly, anyway.
What about you? What's your favorite horse?
Maybe it's Russian. I'm sorry, Russian, maybe not German.
There you go. That sounds right.
Yeah, Russian.
Yeah, probably my favorite horse was my old stud, Joker. He's gone now, but he's the one that had to suffer and put up with me, as I went through the Parelli program and got a better handle on horsemanship and how to get along with horses. And he was quite a horse when we were done, but he was the one that had to put up with me trying to figure out how to get it done.
Okay. I think that my favorite horse would probably be the one that I have right now. Her name is Glamour. Her Glamour with the Hammer. That was my old fight name, and I gave it to the horse, so we just call her Glamour. But she's mean, and I like a mean mare. I don't know why, but I love those moody mares. I don't know. I've got a special place in my heart for them. They can't be too moody. I need them to have that moodiness that's usable.
Right.
I like that. I don't know. I prefer mares over geldings. What do you prefer?
We compete mostly on mares.
Okay.
I mean, we do have a few geldings, but most of our competition horses are mares.
I've seen some. I can't think of one right now to save my life. Well, if there's someone out there that's hearing this right here, but like I want a man that likes a mare, because we're kind of difficult. All right, so here we go. Closing thoughts. Are you a dog or a cat? Dog or a cat person? Or neither?
Or both would be more
both.
like it.
Oh, do y'all have dogs and cats?
We do, yeah.
What kind of dogs do you have?
Miniature Australian Shepherds.
Okay, all right. And then cats? You just got barn cats?
We have a couple in the house.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got one that my husband hates to have in the house, and I just love her to death. Her name is Miss Jackson. She's just awful. She's awful.
I mean, we have barn cats too, of course, but we have two that are allowed to come in. But they go in and out just like the dogs do.
Oh, okay. That's great.
I know.
Well,
they
it's
don't use a
fabulous.
litter pan. They go outside.
Oh, man. All right. Well, this right here was Tony and Jenny Vaught, and their last name is Vaught. And you can find them on Facebook at For the Horse Ranch. All right. Thank y'all very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time.